First of all, I want to apologize for the crappy lighting. We changed the bedroom around a little bit. I also want to apologize for the sound of my voice. I'm not feeling too good. So I'll try and speak as clearly as I can. I tend to speak pretty fast, so I'll try to slow that down. But lately there have been a few people in the news who've been making note for being transgender. The most recent of which was YouTube member Cassidy Lynn, who won Homecoming Queen down in Los Angeles, California. It was a wonderful thing to happen. Truly made history. She should be really proud. However, if you've noticed her recent videos, if you go to her channel right now, she's pretty distraught. She's getting slammed, hammered. I was actually just there. I was reading some of the comments. I left a couple myself. And the biggest thing that bothered me was that a couple of people were referring to this woman as he. Basically, they were refusing to accept her transitional gender. I'm not even sure that's the right term. Hopefully it is. Now, I've been doing a lot of studying on transgender people myself. I've been wanting to be more active, more supportive of the LGBT community, and that was why. I mean, I understand gays. I've known several. I have family members who are gay. I've mentioned that. So, even though I myself am not gay, because I have lived in close proximity to gays, I've been able to speak with them, and I can kind of understand their mentality. Not so with transgender. I've only known, I think, 2 transgender people in my entire life. I worked for one for about a year. There was another that I knew sort of in passing. So it's not really something I understood. We never discussed, even though being gay came up, because I got to know these people back in the 90s, back when I really didn't know anything about gays. Being transgender never came up. So that was why the research was necessitated. No, I'm not going through transition. I have no, despite the long hair, I have no interest in becoming a woman. I just wanted to know what it is that defines a transgender person, and I learned something very, very interesting. A transgender person mentally cannot accept their biological sex, meaning they are born of the mind that they are the opposite gender for which their physical appearance states, and that is not something that they can just. It's not a switch they can turn off. That is with them for their entire lives, and that is why transgender people are actually encouraged to change genders, because in the end that actually satisfies that mental need, and it is a need. They need to be this other gender, be it male to female or female to male, whichever. It is a need, and there is real harm that comes from suppressing this. They're 4 times more likely to commit suicide. They're 10 times more likely to suffer clinical depression requiring medication. This is a serious problem. So to call someone who's transgender, by their birth gender, refusing to acknowledge that they are transitioning genders, is beyond rude. It's actually hurtful. It's right up there with me calling any one of you a fuckwad or an asshole or any other insult or name, because this person needs to be recognized as the gender that their mind is willing to accept. I don't want to say chosen. I don't think it's a choice. I think it's something it's like homosexuality. It's something that they can't really control. They need to be this gender that their mind, for whatever reason, is calibrated, is programmed, whatever technological word you want to use. There is a genuine, real need for this person to change genders, and that needs to be recognized, and it needs to be accepted. The point I'm trying to get into is that's really where the hatred of transsexuals and transgender people is really kind of coming into play, because people on the outside, namely you and me, well, specifically, anyway, people around transsexuals and transgender people are not willing to accept this person's transitioned gender. So they find out that the person was born male, and they start calling him, hey dude, hey guy, hey fella. I mean, all these male pronouns, when in fact a person is actually female. Now, if I may go one step further, we'll actually define. There's actually a definition between sex and gender. Sex, of course, is the genitalia that you're born with, be it penis and testicles, breasts and vagina. That is your sex. Your gender, on the other hand, is more of a mental state. It really is controlled by your mentality. And this is something that science has really kind of discovered, especially over the last 15, 20 years. That this is really a kind of a set in stone characteristic of people mentally, and it can and very often does, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your point of view, differ from your biological sex. That is why the two are more and more being accepted as different things. So calling somebody, enforcing the pronouns of a person's biological sex upon their gender, if the gender is different, is excruciatingly rude. It's hateful, it's hurtful, and honestly, it is not going to lead to acceptance of transgender or transsexual people. And I don't really know any other way to put it. I mean, it's common sense. If someone accepts and lives as the opposite gender, then we need to accept that gender for that person's sake. Because to not do so is to cause real, genuine harm. You are hurting that person. Whether you want to accept it or not, you are hurting that person. That is something that really needs to come across. So, anyway, these are not my thoughts on things. These are just the facts that I'm hoping to kind of educate all of you. And I'm Mopar signing off.